Okay, welcome back to episode 2 of Cisco security classes. Today we're actually going to look into DHCP Snooping. And for those who need just a quick refresher, basically what I'm showing you here on Packet Tracer is I've got enough, and I should rename this as Trusted Server. So I've configured 2 DHCP servers here. So this is the first one. These 2 PCs on the right here are asking for IP addresses. So if I go into here and I go to look at the IP configuration, I'll see 192.168.02. And of course, I mean, the better way to look at that, because we should be doing this instead. Yep, or. Okay, so now we can see that the configuration is correct there. So I want that scenario. That's correct. That's a good thing, because this rogue server, we go into the rogue server, and I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to do this together. This is just what it's going to look like. And remember, I'm not editing. I'm not. I might pause now and then, but this is live and raw. So if we go DHCP. I've configured what I call a rogue pool. So this one is the IP address that this server will attempt to give to the network, because that's what rogue servers are doing. And that's why we need a DHCP snooping to prevent this. So I've done some configurations in the switch that's going to stop this DHCP server from giving out IP address. It's going to be lots of fun, and I can't wait to do this. So let's set up a new one. I'll just save this one. I'll just save it. And I'm going to throw in a couple of servers first. Now, you could do this with a Cisco router if you like, but you know what? I just want to get this up and running really quickly and working. We should, you know, it's up to you. Best practice is we would have a router usually, and that would relay the well, not really best practice, but it's common for a router to, for example, this one to be in here, and we relay to the DHCP server. So the devices, so like the switch out here, the 2960, and we've got our little PCs that they're going to ask for for IP addresses through DHCP. They would go here to the switch, and the switch would relay their DHCP. Sorry, the switch would communicate with the router, and these computers will ask for a DHCP address. The router would relay to a Windows 2016 DHCP server. We should do that, but you know, we just want to get this working, and we want it to working efficiently, right? So let's get this done. So first step. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just right click here and just change the name of this one. This one's a trusted DHCP server, and this bad boy up here, this naughty guy, is a rogue server. Sounds like a Star Wars movie. Alright, now we are going to start, before we make some connections. We could make it anyway, but let's configure the server here. And the way we're going to configure this is we'll give it a static IP address. Remember, servers should have static IP addresses as well as gateway. Things that are stationary, like printers, servers, network storage. These things really should have static addresses. In fact, Active Directory that has DNS must be configured with static. Alright, I'm not going to be creative with the IP addresses. This doesn't really look professional in a workplace. At home it's fine. Anyway, I'm just going to put myself as the gateway and the DNS server. Just put the loopback address, means that it's just going to send it back to me. Or you can just put that one in there if you like. Alright, so let's jump over to services. You can do a few things here. It acts like a real server. It's pretty cool. Go to DHCP. Let's add. Let's add a trusted pool. What should we call it? Trusted pool IP range. And we will configure the devices to have 192.168 default gateway, and the same thing with the DNS server. We don't need it because there is no internet connected here. We could simulate it, but again, we just want to get this working. We want to show this to you now. Start IP address. So this is the DHCP. We'll say I don't know, maybe we'll do it 10, and there's a subnet mask. Okay, don't worry about the rest. The rest should be sufficient. All right, so let's connect these together. Again, I'm going to be super lazy, but this on this side, I want it to be fast 0.1. That's that's very important. Okay, so that's it's going to do what it's doing now, just doing up and all that. I'll just let it do its thing, and then we're going to, from that computer, sorry, to the router, to one of the PCs. I should name them, but I just really not really that fast. Fast forward it, and they should work now. Now these won't get a DHCP yet, so we need to click on DHCP, and it's requesting an IP address. Let's fast forward that, and it didn't work. So I'll have to look into this and find out exactly what happened. It won't be a second. All right, so I looked into the DHCP server. It looks like I didn't save it, and I can tell you this happens. This happens a lot. You can add it and then forget to press save. It happens like you wouldn't believe how many times. In packet trace anyway. Trusted, we'll have to do this again. Trusted DHCP server, and 192.168.0.1. Again, same thing. I could do that as 127.0.01, but I can't be bothered. Okay, so we'll do the start range again as 10, and then now this time I'm going to add it, and I'm going to save it. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. So let's just double check to see if that worked. Excuse me. And yeah, it looks like it's good to go. We'll just put the fast forward button, and let's see if if they got it. I might put it static and then back to DHCP again. Didn't work again. Okay, well, let me pause again and find out what else could be the problem. Okay, you're not going to believe this, but I need coffee again. I seem to need a lot of coffee. I didn't press service on. It's just a little small error. Now, okay, let's fast forward this and see how this works. Put it static and then DHCP. Okay, successful. Oh God, it just goes to show you that you have to have attention to detail in IT. Even though this is only packet tracer, in reality, making these little errors is very common. It's something that you need to focus. And my advice when planning this out is to have a game plan, have an idea of what you're going to do, and then have it written down, documented somewhere, and tick off every step of the way. Even if you do it a million times, like I've done this lab thousands and thousands of times, it's just those little things that always stump you. It's called complacency. I'm very complacent because I've done this quite a few times. Now complacency really kills you, really hurts. So yeah, it's to be honest, it's not a big issue that we've just done now, but anyway, now what happens? Let's configure this rogue server. So we're going to configure DHCP. I'm going to put it on. This time I didn't make that mistake. I'm going to write rogue DHCP, and I'm going to give it a. Don't worry about that. All the other stuff. I'm just flying through this. 10.0.0.1. 255.255.255. I'll leave everything else the same. So I'm going to add it. I'm going to save it this time. Okay. So that should work. Now, I'm just going to do this very quickly because I want to show you that this device will give out IP addresses. Let's just throw out very quickly another server. switch and another laptop. I'll do this super quick. Good thing about switches is that they will work out of the box straight away. You don't really have to configure a switch, even if it's a multi, like a tens of thousands of dollar switch. It's going to pretty much, it should be generating its own IP address there. Just make sure that it's working. Okay, static. Let's try that again. Probably something else. I'm pretty sure I saved it. DHCP. It's on. There's that one. Should be working. Let's just configure this anyway. 192.168. Sorry, wrong one. Might be a second. Everything else should be fine. Yeah, it should be good. Ah, you know what I forgot? I forgot to give this server an IP address. Good. So yeah, there you go. Attention to detail. Got to be good at that. I say all my videos, when you're looking for a job and they, okay, I'm just going to give it something else. When you're looking for a job and they say attention to detail, in other words, they're saying to you, it's just a fancy way of saying we don't want you to make mistakes. And you know, if you make mistakes, you can do quite a lot of damage. So try to focus and have attention to detail. All right, now let's try that again. Fast forward, and there we go. It gave me not exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to, but you know, it's given me an IP address of 10.0.0.1. So that rogue server is working. It's giving an IP address, and this trusted server is giving an IP address. Let's see what happens now. And we're putting, so we've got two DHCP servers. This is a rogue server. This is a hacker bringing in their DHCP server into this network. I'm going to fast forward that. This is a really creative and intelligent and annoying person bringing in a wireless router into the network so that they can get fast wireless speeds. What they forget is that their wireless router is starting to give DHCP, IP addresses to using DHCP to all the computers in the network. Now let's go to the computer. We'll fast forward that again. It's still got that address. So remember, we've got leases. So when a computer leases an IP address, it will have it in the Windows world. It's 8 days. And other devices, other technologies, it's different. But in Windows, it's 8 days. So we're going to be okay for a while. What will happen though if we shut the computer off and jump back on again? Oh no, the rogue server has given me an incorrect address, and that's not good. So what do we do to fix that? We're going to do some configuration, obviously. Now let's just, we'll put that rogue server back in there again, and we'll just fast forward them. You'll notice that the IP address for the computer will still stay the same. Remember, the lease is 8 days, even if the DHCP server is not there anymore. Let's see, we'll see this in motion. It's going to get the IP address from the trusted server again. All right, now we need to go into our switch and do some configuration. Now I haven't, this switch is clean, there's nothing on it. Configuration terminal, we'll call it hostname switch. I'm not going to be that creative. And we've got a few steps we need to follow. And we'll try to do this in sequence. It's let's have a look. I've got some notes here as well, because sometimes we might make a little bit of an error in the configuration, but let's try this. So Ipdhcp Snooping. So that's the first command that we do. Now the default VLAN, so if we go to show VLAN, do show VLANs. Sorry. Do show VLAN. We can see that the default VLAN is 1. Now, obviously, in production environments, we're not going to have that. We're going to divide them into separate VLANs. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to just use VLAN 1. So what we'll do is we'll configure the IP address, DHCP Snooping VLAN 1. Okay. Remember, this is like a demonstration showing you how to the theory and concepts. I'll go over some of them, but not all of them. So let's go to IP DHCP Snooping information option, and basically it kind of is, it's like a relay agent, if that makes sense. I might write some notes and leave it into and put it into the blog somewhere, or to the comments. So I'll put a comment on how to get to the blog, a little bit more information on that. But I'm trying to keep these labs and these demonstrations to around 20 minutes. I'm getting close to that time anyway. All right, let's just do a do show IP interface brief, because I just want to see which interfaces are good. All right, yep. So I've got 3 interfaces, and I know that the server is on interface 1. So the server, the interface, which is fast Ethernet 01/1, we want to trust that, but we don't want to trust any other servers for the purpose of DHCP. So this server, the rogue server, can still connect to the network. So we're not stopping the connection. We're not doing port security like we did in the last episode. It's still going to be able to have access to this switch. So this is another security feature that we can use. Port security was 1. This is DHCP Snooping. So if somehow that rogue server is able to get on in the first place, at least there's going to be another way to block and stop that. To stop that server giving out DHCP addresses. All right, so let's jump into our fast Ethernet 1. So interface fast Ethernet 0.1. Awesome. So let's now jump into the next stage. Is we might just try to think here. Thankfully, I've written notes, because when you're like doing it on the camera and recording, sometimes you get to like stage fright and your mind just so it's good to have notes, have a plan. All right, so my notes is yep, that's right. So we've got to do IP DHCP Snooping trust. We need to trust this device. You can do something like IP DHCP Snooping limit. What was it? Rate, like some sort of number there. So if you're getting a lot of requests that exceeds 20 requests per second, it stops. But you know what? Let's not do that. Maybe you might want to do that on the other interfaces. I think that's pretty much it. That should work. But I might just throw in one more command. So far, what we've done now should be enough, but we'll throw in one more. IP DHCP Snooping verify MAC address. And what this does is it configures the switch to verify that the source MAC address in a DHCP packet that is received on an untrusted port matches the client hardware address in the packet. All right, so let's do that. Let's have a look at that now. Now I'm going to just have a quick look, because there's something I think that we've missed something. So let's have a look at a verifying command, and we can do show IP DHCP Snooping, and that's going to show us a bit of information here. It's going to tell us that that fast Ethernet is trusted. It's going to tell us that switch DHCP Snooping is enabled. That's a good sign. It's going to tell us that DHCP Snooping is configured for VLAN 1. The insertion of option 82 is enabled. We'll probably talk about that maybe in a blog or some kind of written documentation. You know what, guys? I reckon this should work. This should work. All right, let me just make sure that we can still get DHCP addresses under this configuration, and we can. So even though I've done some configuration, I've made that trusted and I've done a few other things, I can still grab an IP address. And to prove that, let's just throw in a brand new, let's say, laptop. And we'll connect it to the switch. Go into the laptop, configuration desktop, and we'll do a DHCP and automatic. Ooh, failed. Interesting. Let's have a look. Let's try that again. No, it didn't work. Okay, we'll need to look into this. We need to find out exactly what's happened. We'll be back very shortly. Thanks to the magic of live pause. Shouldn't be too long. Oh, okay, well, I didn't do anything. I didn't configure it. It just decided to work. I mean, honestly, I didn't configure anything. It just said, you know, I'm just not going to work for you. I'm going to make a fool out of you in front of all people that are watching. So, anyway, you know what? Let's do another one. Why not? We'll go to desktop. We'll do a DHCP. I know this is not going to work. Because it's not connected, that's why. Fast forward, probably still won't work. Yeah, it worked. Well, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe I've got gremlins in the packet tracer, but okay, it's still working. Now, drum roll. I'm going to now put the rogue server into this network. I'm going to fast forward it. We've got connection. Okay, so that's a good sign. I'm getting all that. Let's have a look at the table. So I know that I've got one. So I've got these are the IP. These are the interface addresses. They're telling me that these are trusted. Should have a look again. All right. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. We're not up to 3. Trying to find 3. All right, let's just go back into there. No, 3's disappeared. Anyway, let's just fast forward that now. Now, let's make sure that they're all getting IP addresses. So they're still getting the address from this server. The 192. Let's just prove that. Let's have a look at the PC1 over here. We'll go to static and DHCP. You know what? Let's do this the right way. Let's not be lazy. Go to command prompt, ipconfig. Whoops. Good. We'll go to ipconfig all. Yep. And we'll go to ipconfig release. Yep. And renew. We're going to do this the proper way. And they're still getting IP addresses from the trusted DHCP server and not the rogue server. That's exactly what we wanted to. So if you go to trusted server, go to DHCP, see 192.168.0, we're starting at the, you know what, I'm going to change that to, I'll leave it, it's fine, that's good. And the rogue server, remember we configured this earlier, is 10 network, 10.0.01. So it's doing its job. We're trusting faster than at 01 for the purpose of DHCP. Remember, it's all it's doing. It's just saying, if I'm getting DHCP from this Ethernet port, this port, we're going to trust it. But we're not going to trust DHCP from other ports. So this is going to prevent DHCP spoofing. This is going to prevent a rogue server, a hacker who's found a way, done some social engineering strategies, able to get past the security guard, able to trick someone into letting them into the facilities or into the building. This is a really intelligent, maybe going to a bank branch and plugging in a Raspberry Pi or something like that has DHCP snooping on it. And we've got this, and what will happen is they distribute IP addresses to the nodes in the system, to the computers and the devices, so that they can go to that server and get the IP address from that server. And that means that that device opens up so many different malicious possibilities. All right, well, I have already made a video on port security. This is a video on DHCP snooping. The next episode I'm going to work on is configuring dynamic ARP inspection, or DAY, which is quite exciting as well. But in any case, thank you very much for viewing. If anyone has any questions or comments, please contact me through the comments, or if you're one of my students in class, you're more than welcome to email or message me anytime you like. But in the meantime, have a great afternoon, night, morning, weekend, weekday, whatever it is, and stay safe, everyone. Take care.